Welcome to Talk About It with Nick and Glenn, episode 2.
What's up, listeners? What's up, viewers?
Hey, guys. Hey, Glenn.
What's up, Nick?
How's it going?
Fantastic. What about you?
It's going great, Glenn. So before we jump into it, what's new with you?
Nothing really. Again, we had just, as we speak right now, we had just released another episode of Sharing with Aaron. If you weren't listening last week, I just want to let you know that Nick's wife does have a YouTube channel called Sharing with Aaron.
My beautiful, beautiful wife.
Her beautiful wife. But yes, it's the YouTube channel is called Sharing with Aaron, and she does advice episodes and vlogs,
which I am also in. Well, we're both in.
Occasionally, we're in it. Well, occasionally I'm in it. So yeah, do you want me to just jump right into our theme for today, or
yeah?
How about you? Wait, hold on, everyone. What's new with you? What's up?
Goodness, I didn't know I was gonna be put on the spot like this.
Well, you are now.
With me, I mean nothing really. Yeah. Don't look at me like that. I don't know nothing.
Right.
I wish my life was more exciting right now, but since the last time we met.
Yeah.
No. It's so weird because I mentioned this last week, but we live together.
Right.
So we're asking each other what's up.
Yeah.
We know.
Okay.
But nothing really.
Nothing at work, nothing at
just been hanging out with my beautiful wife, my dogs. Mako is inside right now, so if you hear a little rustling, it's our huge husky. But yeah, other than that, nothing really. We've just been working on some stuff, which we'll talk about later. And working on this podcast, getting ready. Mm-hmm. Cool. So why don't we just jump right into the topic? What's the topic for today, Glenn?
Absolutely. Well, I just need help moving forward. I just need help moving forward with my life sometimes. And I was just wondering if, the viewers and the listeners out there and you, Nick, can help me with some inspirations and motivations to, keep following my dreams.
I'm sure try.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, no one's perfect. I could also help you if you have some questions for me. I'd be happy to throw in some advice in there.
Oh, Glenn, I have questions for you.
Yeah. Disclaimer, we're not professional therapist, psychologist, and psychiatrist. Anything else that I haven't mentioned. But we're not professionals. But we're here to help you guys out the best way that we can. So yes, let's jump right in. Nick, I have a question for you.
I'm ready.
Awesome. Where do I find the inspiration and the motivation to keep pushing through?
Glenn, that's a good question.
That is an awesome question. Please let me know, Nick.
Well, for me, where I find motivation is excitement. That's like my biggest, motivating factor. Sort of reminding myself about any sort of excitement I was feeling towards a project or, something that I have to do that I've maybe lost motivation for. That excitement that that I had for it at the beginning or thinking towards the end, like once it's accomplished,
right?
How great that'll feel. Part of that too is like passion, right? Like I think that if you really enjoy what you're doing, sure, you might lose some motivation, but I think just reminding yourself, like that you're doing what you love doing or you're doing something that you really enjoy or that you're excited about can help spark that flame again. Think about it as a lost love.
A lost love?
Yeah.
Please elaborate. I would love to learn.
Like you can think about it like this. Like when you start a project or you start something that you're really excited about, it's like meeting like the person of your dreams, right? Like the one person who you can't live without. Then sometimes as that relationship goes on, you find some stuff that you guys maybe separate a little bit. You start to lose that, feeling that you had when you first met. That's the sort of like middle part of the project, right? The part where you're sort of starting to lose motivation.
Right.
So all you have to do is remind yourself how you felt when you first met that person or how you felt when you first started that project. What excited you about it?
Right.
Like what fueled your flame? Fueled your fire?
I see. Yeah. What fanned your fire?
There we go.
Yeah. What fanned your flame? What fanned your flame? Yeah.
It took a while, but we got there.
Right. To anyone listening or watching this, what fans your flame is the answer to that question.
But yeah, and then like if you think about it and you either can't remember or you're realizing that it's not something you want to keep doing, move on. If you're not motivated to do it and you can't find the motivation to do it, if you're not excited about it, then in my opinion, then that's just sort of a waste of time. Do something that you want to do and what want to be motivated about. But I think really like bringing that excitement back is for me at least, the biggest form of motivation. I know, we all go through those moments. Is there anything specific that you do?
Yeah, obviously not obviously. But yeah, now that we talked about it, I could sort of look back to the times that I have found the strength to push through. And usually when I am hitting my version of rock bottom, I can distinctly remember looking back and thinking about my family. And I've always had this vision in my mind. I mean, okay, we're middle-class people in the Philippines, so we're not like the poorest.
Wait, have
people.
we told your story? Do they know your story?
No, not quite yet.
Okay, let's fill them in really quick.
Okay.
This is, I think, super inspiring.
Hey.
So yeah, why don't you just tell them so that they understand a little bit better?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, hold the question in your minds. Don't get distracted. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself, where I came from. So I was born let's start with my family. Are one of those people who lived in Dubai, UAE, back when it was all desert, no buildings yet. No one even knew.
I know now it's like a big.
It's like, right now, yeah, it's a big, like, huge tourist place, and yeah, that is what is for. That is anyway. I know, foreign alert right there. But yes, my parents were living in Dubai because they wanted a better life for themselves and for their families. And I ended up, being born there. And I also lived in the Philippines, where my family are from. So back and forth in the Philippines.
How long did you live in each place?
About like 7 and 7. It's like back and forth. More like 9 and 5 or something like that, because I moved to the United States when I was 14. So
like a relatively equal time in both
about
places.
Yeah. I would say we're pretty middle class in the Philippines, and in the United States, middle class in the Philippines, that's equivalent to, like, if you're someone who's middle class in the Philippines, that's equivalent to probably not so middle class in the United States. I'm trying to be nice about it.
Yeah.
But, not necessarily the most luxurious living situation in the Philippines. Right. Regardless, my parents still did their best. They worked so hard, and they made a lot of sacrifices to make sure that we didn't experience the hardships that they experienced. So yeah, in terms of what inspires and motivates me to keep pushing through, usually when life hits and I'm hitting my rock bottom and life is just that hard, I usually remind myself that I really want to make my family proud. I want to honor my family, and that usually helps me because I can just remember thinking to myself, you know what, I could be that person that changes the whole situation for my family. I could be that person that makes my parents proud, even my big brother proud, and all my other siblings proud. I used to have this dream of becoming like an Oscar winner as an actor, and it motivates me remembering when I would envision myself accepting, when like the presenter would announce my name and my mom is like sitting right next to me, as I'm like accepting my Oscar. So I mean, obviously completely different path now, but the point is my family usually is a huge inspiration to me.
That's awesome.
Aspiring to make them proud is usually a really good motivation thought. What's
your motivation thought?
Yeah, exactly. Viewers and listeners, help us out. What's your idea of how to better help me and Nick keep pushing through with our lives?
And something you said that sort of sparked, something that also motivates me is like what I do personally is like my goals that I set for life, there were air quotes there. I realize you can't see me. I've set goals for myself that are basically like unattainable, right? So that I always have something to look forward to. That I never am like, oh, well, I achieved that goal. Now what? And then I lose motivation. For me, I love setting goals that are extremely high, that are basically never going to get reached, so that I always have something to look forward to. In that big goal, though, I have a bunch of little goals. Right. That I, it's like you achieve, great. It's another step forward to that big goal. Right, yeah. So that's how you make sure you get stuff done, right? Having a lot of little goals and then one big goal that sort of encompasses all of them. That's what works for me. It's different for everybody, but I think for me, that's a really great way to like motivate myself to like keep climbing that ladder and getting up there. You know what I mean?
I see. Yeah. So in a way, if, aim for the moon, and if you don't hit it, you'll still land among the stars, is basically
Exactly
what you're saying. That's a very interesting point. Absolutely.
cool. Let's go on to the next one.
Next one. Out of all the voices in my head talking every second of every day, Nick, how do I know when it's finally my heart trying to communicate with me?
Have you asked it? I'm just kidding.
I know that made me think for a second. Ooh, I just said think.
I guess for me, like this sort of my answer reverts back to the first question we just had, but it's excitement.
Right.
So I've had a bunch of ideas where, you know, I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. That could work. That's smart. You know what I mean? Like these thoughts where I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. That'll work. That's, you know, maybe I can do this. But in thinking that I want to do this. I need to do this. This is something that I want to do. On the flip side, I've had those thoughts where I'm like super excited, pumped about it. Oh, I have to do this. I need to do this. This is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so exciting. That's when your heart is speaking, in my opinion. If you're not excited about it and passionate about it, it may be a good idea. But if you're not passionate about it, then to me, like, that's a waste of time. Right. Because I don't think you're going to put your all in it if you're not passionate about it. And so, like, those thoughts, whether good or bad, are not, I think, the thoughts that you should be following. I think that you should be following the thoughts, you know, that really get you excited and pumped about.
It fans the flame.
Exactly.
When it's your heart, it fans the flame. Called it, everyone. That's our shirt.
But yeah, because I mean, like, do you ever have the times where, you know, you have the idea and you're like, that's a really good idea for someone else. You know what I mean? Like, you think, oh, maybe I could do it, but your heart just isn't in it. And it's just...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I dreamt about becoming an Oscar-winning actor, and I studied a lot about acting. I read books about it, studied actors as they acted, and I would say that I'm someone who has a really good work ethic, and I've gone through auditions, gotten a lot of really good reviews, yet didn't really get the part. And it's heartbreaking, but sometimes you got to ask yourself, like, because I'm someone who works really hard, in my opinion.
Right, you are.
And yeah, thank you, Nick.
You have a great work ethic. Probably the best one I've seen.
Oh, stop it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm someone who has a really great work ethic. And I consider myself very talented. Might I just add some hints of narcissism in there? Absolutely, just let it rain. You know, when directors constantly keep giving you good reviews in your audition, and you're someone who has a really good work ethic, yet you don't book the part, a little part of me sort of asks myself, you know, am I doing something to sabotage that? Basically, does it have something to do with my heart telling me maybe there's something better for you, and that, you know, your dreams are great, but they're great for someone else.
And I mean, on top of that, it's totally always okay to pivot whatever you're doing.
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, if you are super motivated to do a certain thing, and like a little bit down the road, that motivation's sort of gone, and you realize that maybe that's not the right thing you should be doing at the time, it's totally okay to like pivot what you're doing into something else. All the experiences that you've gained thus far is going to be super beneficial to you later down the road, right? It's all about what I would call tasting life.
Taste of life.
Buy our merch, Tasting Life. Just kidding. Well, we'll see. Yeah, no, but like taste life, right? Like go experience things that you have always wanted to do, you're scared of doing, things that you've just never done before. I think that that's a great form of not only motivation, but to help you figure out like what you want to do. You know, I talk to a lot of people who are like I have a lot of friends who are going off to college right now. And something I love to ask, just because, you know, it helps. Wow, stutter.
Get it together.
I'm get to know them a little bit better. I always ask people like what they're majoring in and what they want to do. And sometimes people have a very clear cut, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm definitely one of those people. I've wanted to be a film director and producer since I was like 4 years old, when I realized that was a real job. And like, I've been working my entire life towards that goal. But I've talked to people who are like, I have no clue. And usually those people who don't necessarily know what they want to do feel like they're behind or they're like never going to figure it out. But there's no problem with that whatsoever. By the time you go off to college, like even after that, you still haven't experienced everything that you're going to experience in life.
That's true, yeah.
There's so much more for you to experience. And I think that all those experiences are really important in figuring out what exactly you're passionate about and what you want to do. As passions come and go or ideas come and go, I think pursuing those when they're here is a great jumping off point to sort of figure it out. But you know, there's nothing wrong with not necessarily knowing what to do right now. I say go taste life and figure it out.
All right. Yeah. What about the viewers and listeners out there? For anyone who has a lot more knowledge than us, what do you think is a difference when it's simply just your mind spewing out some nonsense versus when it's your heart actually telling you, you know, there's a real calling here? Let us know. Nick?
Yes.
Is there anyone famous who you look up to? If yes, who and why?
Boy, oh boy. I always hate these questions.
Girl.
Boy, oh girl. I hate these
Spill
questions.
it.
That's like
Spill the guilty
asking
pleasures.
That's like someone asking me what my favorite movie is. Honestly, there are a bunch of people I look up to. I mean, for me, like, I'm a film nerd and like I want to be a film director and producer, and so like I have a bunch of directors I look up to. Obviously, like, I'm not going to go into it right now, but for some examples, like Stanley Kubrick is one of my favorites.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Yeah,
the usuals.
yeah.
Through everybody though who I look up to, I sort of pick and choose like what I feel are the best qualities that they have that I also want or that I want to emulate, and I sort of use that to like piece myself together,
right?
You know what I mean? And that has to do with like motivation and just how I want to like live life and how I want people to perceive me. I think that other people are a great resource or example for you, because you know, like, other people have gone through things that you might not have gone through or had experiences that you've not gone through, and like you can learn from that instead of going through that hardship yourself, which I think is super cool. You can like learn from other people and not have to go through the same mistakes that they do. And so with people who are successful, what I like to do is find the hardships that they've had and learn from their mistakes so I don't run into the same problem.
Interesting.
So, yeah. What about you?
You know, I was literally just, as you were saying that, I just remembered Sia. That's someone who I really look up to.
Like that?
Swing. Yeah, exactly. I want to swing in the chandelier, Sia. Just because, I mean, she's such a unique artist, you know, someone who clearly has flaws and just puts it out there for everyone to see, and it inspires people through what others would believe is something that is wrong about her. And you can even hear that in her songs. I mean, she's someone who sings about, there's a lyric in her song where she says, I don't care if I sing off key, I find myself in my melody, which to me, that means a lot to me, because, you know, it just speaks to a lot of people. You know, whenever you are insecure or whenever you're in doubt, what is that one thing that you usually find? What is that place where you usually find where you feel like you can hide? Not necessarily like hide from everyone, but where do you find your center?
Right,
you know 100%. What I'm saying? Yeah. So that to me is a really, really good. Sia to me is a really good example. Shout out Sia.
Which, by the way, did you know
we want to
that,
interview you one day?
Did you know that before Sia like reinvented herself, she had out like 4 albums?
Yes, absolutely.
Like she was like, she's been doing this for a while. And then, like, she, like, reinvented herself, and that's why she doesn't show her face anymore. Yeah. And all that good stuff, and now she's, like, huge. But she's, like, she's had a career.
Good for you, girl.
I know.
I adore you. I look up to you. Okay, last question. We're trying to wrap up here.
I'm ready.
Nick, can you tell me, how can I be more of an inspiration to the people?
You personally?
Me personally, yes.
I think you just do you.
Amen. Yes, I agree. I agree.
I mean, I can elaborate on that a little bit. So basically, like, in my opinion, my professional opinion, if you just do like what excites you and what you're passionate about, and you just like stick true to who you are, and you express that, I feel like that in itself will help people, and people who agree with you or, you know, are looking for that sort of quality that you bring will sort of gravitate towards you and I think that's what I want, at least.
Yeah.
I just want, to put myself out there and like do what I believe, do what I think is
show
right.
what it is that you can offer to the world. Yeah.
And I think that no matter what it is, people will be gravitated towards it if they connect with it.
That's very true.
And there's so many people on this world that somebody's gonna connect with it. Don't feel like you're just gonna
you're alone and no one really understands. Yeah.
Well, because I used to feel like
who's gonna want to see what I've got to offer the world.
Because I'm I'm so weird. Like these ideas I have are so weird. They're so like wacky. Like
you think about like what we watch nowadays on television. Like we watch them because they're weird.
I know. Yeah. And so like you might not connect with some people, but like you could be connecting with a whole bunch of other people.
Right.
And like in my opinion, you don't want everyone, right? Like you want to connect with the people who feel strongly about what you're saying.
Right.
What about, do you have any suggestions for me?
I completely agree with what you said. Just to me, find what it is that makes you feel like you are in your element. It's a lot easier said than done, but when you do find it, you'll know, because it not only does it feel like you're doing something really, really great for yourself as an act of self-love, but it also feels like you really are contributing to the positive change that is about to happen to the world, in my opinion. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
I agree. That's awesome.
So before we completely end the whole episode tonight, I just would like to let the viewers and the listeners know, remember those people who told you can't do it. Remember those people who told you that you will never, ever reach your goals and you'll never, ever get up from where you are. Use that as your motivation, yeah?
Yeah, and which, by the way, I love it when people don't believe in me.
Yeah.
It gives me so much joy. No, I love it. For multiple reasons. One, there are no expectations. If nobody believes in you, there's no expectations. Two, negative Nancy's don't contribute anything to the world, right? If somebody doesn't believe in you and they are vocal about that, good for them. Yeah. They're not contributing anything. Right. They're just spewing out negativity, which, by the way, surround yourself with positivity. We'll go into that some other time.
Absolutely.
And then when you end up doing what you love and you have a great time, it doesn't matter who believes in you, who doesn't, as long as you're
just do
enjoying
you.
yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. As long as you're enjoying yourself, that's the most that you could ever want. You know
enjoy
what I mean?
yourself. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I just had to add that in a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nick, where can they find us?
Yes, you can email us at talkaboutitquestions@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts on our topics, or if you have any topics that you'd love for us to talk about, please send those our way. And you can also follow us on Instagram at talkaboutitpodcast.
Awesome. Absolutely. And before we completely sign off, I just want to ask the viewers and listeners out there, how can we help you hear the desires of your heart? Let's talk about it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.